My mom's death was not unexpected. She was 88 years old and had congestive heart failure. What was unexpected was the family drama that unfolded right before her memorial service. And this drama gave me a whole new appreciation of septic systems. My folks lived in Stratford, Vermont, in a lovely old house that was up against the town common and catty-corner to the iconic Stratford townhouse. They were frugal when it came to both appliances and home repairs. My father famously once called the manufacturer of our coffee pot, which is probably a $30 pot, and said he was going to send it back for repair, and could they send us a loaner in the interim? They also loved found objects. My mother was particularly proud of herself for having found, salvaged from the townhouse, a three-holer, literally a long plank with 3 wooden toilet seats on it that had been part of the townhouse's original outhouse. We held the memorial service for my mom at the church down the street from my folks' house. And because none of us kids lived locally, our folks' house was the beehive of activity. We had 5 siblings, 5 spouses, 13 grandchildren. You get the picture, it was a packed house. So my husband, Roland, and I and our kids arrived at the house the afternoon before the memorial service. And my father asked Roland if he would come down to the cellar with him to check something out. And Roland, being the fix-it guy, was happy to do that. I sensed trouble a couple of minutes later when my very mild, meek, quiet husband's voice was rising. I walked over to the top of the cellar stairs to listen in, and I heard my husband say quite loudly to my father, "Ned, I don't know much, but these 2 things I know. 1, a 100-pound bag of flour makes a mighty big biscuit, and 2, your septic system is gonna blow." As it turns out, a failing septic system is really not something you should ignore. But that's what we did, because overruling Roland, my father and middle brother, short on plumbing experience but long on optimism and opinion, declared that he did not know what he was talking about, and in fact, everything was safe to use. The next morning, as we're scrambling around trying to get things ready for the memorial service, you guessed it, the septic blew. My oldest brother was fixing vegetables in the kitchen sink in preparation for a big meal we were going to have at the house that evening, and the kitchen sink started to gurgle. My oldest niece was upstairs in the shower, and suddenly we heard her yell, "Oh, ew, oh my God, there is poop coming up out of the drain." And someone simultaneously flushed the toilet in the downstairs bathroom, and you can imagine, right? It was not it was not a pretty sight. Anyway, the memorial service went off without a hitch. We had a wonderful celebration of my mother's life. And miraculously, nobody said anything about the fact that some of us family members did not smell so good after that. But later that night, I finally had the chance to sit at my folks' house and reflect on the day and the chaos that had happened in between the septic failing and all that we had had to do to move the event and move the event for that evening and find the plumber and you name it. It was a lot of things. And so when I finally got a chance to sit down, it finally realized that my mother was gone. And that was hard. And as I sort of started to tear up and get sad, I looked out the window at the townhouse, and there, backlit by a streetlight, was my father and my aunt's father, 2 88-year-old men. Here they are, standing in the dark, on the lawn, side by side. Both of them are peeing. And I think of my mother, and I could hear her say, "Now would be a good time to find that 3-holer." Thank you.